Hi! Recently I built this vocal booth, which is a room within my room. The basic story is that for the past few years, I have had to work late. Normally I would be picking up the guitar, I'd be wanting to sing some songs, but my family's asleep at that time. Why not try to figure out how to make a vocal booth? Luckily I have my dad, and he's very handy. I mean, oh my gosh. He built a motorcycle, he gutted a van and turned it into a little house. He's built weapons, he's built a bed, he's built cabinets. I recognize that I'm fortunate to have had him throughout this process, but the bottom line is having that other person not only makes it safer, but it also makes it more enjoyable because you guys get to bond over the process of it. So now we're gonna get into the flashback footage of me constructing the vocal booth. Let's do it. All right, so this is what my vocal booth looks like from the outside. Just so you know, the dimensions are 4 by 4. This frame is attached to the wall, so these two are one. But if I was to take this foam weather stripping and just yank it off, can you see how the frame itself could potentially just slide right out? So that's the idea, is that once I decide to take this foam off, this entire thing just comes out. Now, as far as the roof goes, each one of these is fencing. I put some felt there just to kind of soften it up and seal it. That part, I'm trying to point to it with my thumb, is another 2 by 3. The design of this candle is very similar to the design of my roof. So this part that I'm tapping is like the fencing portion that I was just showing you. And this part here is like the 2 by 3. So if you think about my vocal booth being the candle, it pretty much just fits and it finds where it needs to be naturally. Now, one thing I want to point out about the roof is that since it's made of fencing, there were gaps. So I just sealed it off with some more foam weather seal. Now, as you can probably imagine, the walls could potentially just slide right off of the base. What we did was we added this, and I think these are 2 by 6s, and we used big bolts to attach this to the side of the original base. So the part that I'm coloring in darker is the 2 by 6 portion of the base. So all this dark part is the 2 by 6 outer frame that holds all of the walls together, kind of hugging them in so that they are just super secure. So you might be thinking, well, what about the top of the walls? Couldn't they just fold out like a flower? Those are actually just secured with L brackets here. Tomorrow I'll probably add some bigger L brackets, but as of now, these are doing just fine and they're on all 4 corners. So the sound absorbing material that I went with was just fabric. On the rod itself, I have 3 points, 1, 2, and 3, where it's attached per wall. Just because I imagined that with all that weight, it could droop. So it just rests right on top of there. The fabric is also attached to the walls with some Velcro. You can see the stitching that I did. And then to glue the Velcro onto the plywood, I actually used something called shoe glue because it dried really quickly and it's super strong. I mean, let me just... Yeah, that's not coming off anytime soon. Lighting was fun. I just went on Amazon and got some LED lights. The remote for the lights, I just stuck onto the wall here with some Velcro. And if I get the right angle, let me see. Woo! It worked. So I don't even have to go outside most of the time to do that. As far as the door goes, I put some more weather stripping here. I meant it to be temporary, but it honestly just works fine, so I kept it like this. This does two things. It keeps everything soundproofed even more, but it also helps me close the door, so it's kind of like a stopper as well. As far as carpeting goes, I just went to Walmart and picked up a really, you know, like the cheapest one I could find. It was 20 bucks or something. And I didn't attach it or I didn't put anything underneath at all. I just cut it and you can see the particle board right underneath. I got this little corner desk off Amazon as well. I think it was almost 30 bucks. It has just the right amount of space there to put the ring light that I use. So I can plug in my audio right here and my camera is ready to go pretty much at all times. It's super awesome. One last feature of this light, we've got CTO and CTB. Oh! Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to run a song so that you can hear that song playing in the booth, so that you can hear the song playing right outside the booth while still in my room, and then so that you can hear the sound outside of my entire room. Okay, here we go.
Here's a new song, it didn't take long, it's not a cover, hope you won't bother, it's not karaoke, I'm keeping it low key, I'm no psychic, but I hope that you like it. It goes down, don't make me nervous, it's all I've got, a few random verses, I hope it gets you under the surface.
All right, welcome back. I have gathered all my receipts from the Home Depot, and the grand total from everything I spent there was $688.34. That does not include the carpeting, the fabric walls, or the LED lights. I'm so glad I went with fabric because for the longest time I kept eyeing those foam panels. Your walls need to be cleaned. They will get dusty. And with this, you can just use a lint roller, and every week I just do that. And it keeps the lint from getting into my lungs as I'm singing. Now, going back to the cost of what I spent at the Home Depot, if some of you are like, you have to also just know that I did overspend. In its entirety, this booth actually costed less than $688. Also, if you're like, nah, I don't want to build it, I just want to buy it, whatever. In film school, I went into the ADR booth that we had. So, I mean, consider making your own DIY vocal booth. I do ask my family all the time if they can hear me, and they'll just look at me and they'll be like, what? My mom actually nicknamed this place the Inception Room because when I'm in it, I go down a whole nother layer. So I don't want to keep yapping. I think that's all I have to say anyways, but I will see you in a future video, and bye.